For sure, what my colleague of ABB has already said inspires the strategy for Enel. Just by chance, in the next 2 days, we will meet with ABB just to speak about sustainability and circular economy, how the partnership is relevant between big companies. As Enel, we spend about 10 billion per year for materials and equipment, works and services. And 90% of these purchases are made with qualified suppliers, qualified according to technical, economical, legal integrity and sustainability requirements in all of our 32 countries where we are present. We have more than 10,000 active suppliers, meaning suppliers that have contract with us in this moment, not including the small ones that are contracted directly by our lines. This is just to give you the numbers. It's clear that our business model is linked to the energy transition, the decarbonization of the energy mix and the electrification of consumption. Until a few years ago, producing renewable energy was considered the primary objective. Now, everyone tends to produce renewable energy. So the real step of growth for every company, big company in particular, is to procure products and services in a sustainable way and to ensure that after their operational life, they are treated in the same way. So the role of the supply chain becomes crucial in this context. It is sufficient to say that if you think about the people involved, in Enel we are about 70,000 people. Our contractors, the direct contractors, the tier one, are about the double. So it is an army of people that working directly for us. And we have a set of factories where these suppliers are producing the goods and equipment that we use, that it is spread all around the world. So if we want to enhance a strategy of respect of our planet, of respect of the communities we interact with, we are obliged to pass through our supply chain. Every supplier in turn has his tier one, that for us it's our tier two, that they are our sub-suppliers. And these tiers progressively invade every part of the society and of the industrial reality of every country where we work. So how sustainability has been integrated into our purchasing process? First of all, since the qualification stage, we assess the sustainability characteristics of our suppliers. We are very strict in verifying that they have all the certification that we deem necessary. And we engage them in the tender phase, where we put in our technical specification all that provisions and requirements that can be applied to the particular kind of merchandise services that we are buying. And normally we engage the supplier before the tender. We make the pre-tender workshop with them and we discuss about sustainability and about circular economy in order to verify all we can put inside the tender and assure the competitiveness among them. So it means what is reachable for the supplier at the present. And we can decide also with them if there is something that we can achieve in terms of sustainability, circular economy, that in this moment is not possible for most of them. So we cannot put as a requirement, but we can decide to put an incentive for the supplier that engage to provide this future functionality, this future improvement in the month to come. So we not only put requisites for sustainability and circular economy, for instance, the carbon footprint certification, the recycling of materials, all the things that my colleague has already expressed before me, but we analyze with them what they can achieve in the next year, and we put a form of incentive, the so-called sustainability K factor, to give an award to the supplier that decide to undertake the commitment to develop toward that direction. So we can ask our providers to have a carbon footprint certification. Once they have the carbon footprint certification, they can start to measure the carbon footprint of their products and also the carbon footprint of their company. The next steps is to ask them to reduce their carbon footprint. So every year to gain a 5, a 10, a 15% of reduction. What it seems technically achievable without breaking the market. There is an important thing that we have made in terms of metric. We have categorized our merchandise, and through a Pareto analysis, we have taken the 12 most important categories of spending, where we spend about the 70% of our material supplies. And together with our suppliers, and ABB is one of them, we have developed a protocol for measuring the impact on the planet. These impacts are measured in terms of carbon footprint, use of renewable energy, reuse of the materials once they end their operational life, consumption of water, and impact over the atmosphere and over the oceans. So we have written these protocols with them after analyzing if protocols were already available. We have seen that protocols were not available for this category, and we have created this protocol for standardizing the methodology of measurement. And then we have asked to accreditation companies to transform this protocol into international standard that can be used by every supplier that produce that kind of products. So in this moment, we have protocols for measuring the impacts over the planet for 7 categories, and we are developing protocols for other 5 categories in the next months. The suppliers can use these protocols that are internationally recognized to obtain the environmental product declaration. They can perform a life cycle assessment, and they can get the services of a third certification bodies that can certify that the impacts, the measure of the impacts linked to the production of the kind of good is this. Once we put together the environmental product declaration of different suppliers relevant to a certain category of goods, we are able to establish a benchmark. So as a second step, we can ask the supplier that are less performant, look at this. You have someone that is doing the same thing that you are doing, but he is capable of reducing the impact over the planet. So we ask you an improvement plan in order for you to cope with these performances.